Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about how to get started in your new 1.18 world. As 1.18 has just come out, lots of people will be starting new worlds, and I'll tell you about lots of features that have been updated, such as changes to parts of the game, such as mob spawning, changes to how the game is played, and changes to how to get armor and tools. So first I'm going to start with changes to parts of the game. As it is a new update and quite a big one, there are quite a lot of changes to the game. So firstly, I'm going to talk about reduced spawning rates, and this is in the mostly overground that I'm talking about. And they haven't actively reduced spawning rates, but due to the more caves underground, the mobs spawn more likely in caves rather than overground. When you load a chunk, you don't load just a 16 by 16 by 16 cube just around your player. You load a 60 by 16 square that goes all the way from height limit to bedrock. And as there are so many caves now below the ground, it means that mobs are more likely to spawn in caves, as you can see here. So on the plains or meadows, as you can see here, there is not as many mobs spawning, which makes it easier to walk around at night. Also, another sort of update, I'm pretty sure it was intended by Mojang to make diamonds spawn in only patches of 1 to 2 most of the time. As in lots of the earlier videos of people playing on the snapshots, they could get diamond armor so easily from just getting these big patches that spawned in the massive caves. And as there are more diamonds in caves, then they reduced the patches to 1 to 2. And in my time of playing on 1.18 so far, I have only found 2 8 veins and I've got overall nearly a stack of diamonds and only 2 8 veins from that. But in caves you can find up to 14 diamonds in lots of the big ones. Another thing that's been updated to mining is that ores have sort of assigned Y level. So, for example, coal doesn't really spawn below in the minus Y parts of the caves, as I'm not really sure why, but Mojang has made it so that coal can only spawn higher up. This is the same as iron. Iron you're very unlikely to find in very deep caves, which can be very annoying when you're trying to get diamonds. Same as everything really. Um, so diamonds, I think you can still find them around Y13, but they're very, very much more likely deeper in the caves. So if you're trying to get specific ores, maybe try and go up at the sort of expected levels that you think they might be. There are also obviously changes to how many mobs spawn in caves. As caves are much bigger, they become much, much more dangerous. As if you were in a normal cave, you would probably not even have to worry in iron armor. You're probably fine, even if you face a lot of mobs. But in these new caves, there can be much, much more mobs. You can easily get swarmed by up to 10 skeletons, and those can be really deadly, even in diamond armor. The final change I would say that really affects your gameplay in the 1.18 update is it's much harder to cross across terrain on foot, as this is because all of the massive mountains you have to go all the way over and then come all the way back down, and coming down is sometimes harder than going up if you don't have a water bucket, as mining down could be a lot for your durability of your pickaxes early game and not very good for even your diamond pickaxes late game. So this also makes it harder to find villages, which I will mention the changes that it sort of brings in the later parts. So now I'm going to go on to changes to how the game is played. So there's quite a few things on changes to how the game is actually played by the player. So firstly, I've got gathering resources and spend in caves, which is in a way much easier. Say if you want stacks and stacks of iron, as I mentioned before, resources only spawn in one sort of Y level. So if you go to the most common Y level for iron, in most of the caves you'll only find 8, 9 veins of iron, which you can easily mine and get much, much, much more iron from that than maybe the average golem farm will in a short period of time. And same goes for lapis, gold, even diamonds. If you go to the right Y level, you can get those resources much, much more common than you could before. So next thing is getting better armor before going into deeper caves. So as surface caves are quite, there are not very many mobs in them, as lots of them are quite well lit up and not very big. You might want to start getting some at least iron armor in them. As I mentioned before, more mobs will be spawning in the big caves, which means that you probably want to get some good armor before going in to fight them. Another tip that might just save your life is getting lots of food and wood before going into the caves. Food can be very good for keeping you alive, as glowberries healing a point of saturation won't be very good against hordes of mobs in the massive new 1.18 caves. Also, wood can be very good for making new stone pickaxes and torches to help you light up and explore caves. Also, moving over the nether is also a great way to travel to save time in this new update. As the terrain is so much bigger and harsher to travel across, going in the nether, even though it's quite dangerous and hard, can be very useful. Also, the final change is finding villagers later game can also be quite useful unless you get lucky for early game, as their terrain is harder to travel, therefore meaning villagers are harder to find. My final tip is going to be on how to get armor and gear. Caves can be better than villagers in this new update, as their villagers are much harder to find and diamonds in caves are much easier to get. In a speedrun that I did a few months ago for a failed video idea, I got 42 minutes trying to get diamond armor in a village, and I didn't even manage to make diamond armor in a cave. But if you can get these new 1.18 caves and get lots of caves and get lots of diamonds in them, then and villages are harder to find. They've sort of buffed caves over villages, and now I would recommend getting diamond armor in the caves if you don't get lucky early game and find a village. Also, you need lots and lots of wood to make all your diamond tools, so I recommend grabbing a lot of wood before going into the caves, as a full set of iron tools, then a full set of diamond tools can take a surprising amount of blocks. So I would recommend getting lots of food and wood before going into the caves, as I said previously. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this sort of guide to starting a new world on 1.18 is useful to you, and some of you managed to get out of some tough situations by using it. Goodbye. Please like and subby.